All right, Aquarius, this one's a little bit difficult here, and it feels heavy to me. So, from Lay Vampire, the call of the night, daring, adventure, and excitement, but then from Chakra Wisdom, you pull complacency. Now, when you're looking at the call of the night, it's that feeling, that pull, that want is still very much there for you to experience something new, wanting some adventure, something that's going to pull you out of your comfort zone. But with complacency, it's almost like the dream has been lost, but yet you still very much want to have this. Now, complacency is a warning about not giving up. It's feeling the loss of your dreams. I don't think it's about, the unmet dreams of others. I think this is about you. I think this is about you trying to accept the fact that, these things that you've been wanting to experience aren't going to happen. But that's not it though, right? Because you're the one that's staying complacent. All right, Aquarius. Here is your overall for the week. Yuck. No. The Five of Swords being the overall, that's difficult. You may be dealing with somebody who is trying to take from you what they can. I worry about this. I don't think that this is about you doing this, but I think that whatever or whoever is trying to hold you down right now is the reason why we're looking at complacency. But, this is also a warning about you getting caught up in, these conflicts and arguments and miscommunications, extreme miscommunication. I don't know. I don't like the Five of Swords being the overall. In the past, the Empress. So if we're talking about the past here, with the Empress, it could definitely be another female where there's disagreements with them, a misunderstanding, possibly fighting, which is what I kind of get from this. Now, on the other hand, though, if you're talking about just the energy here, the Empress is the past coming through is, with the Five of Swords, a lack of abundance or a lack of feeling like there is abundance to enjoy, and that may be due to somebody else. The Empress, I always remind people that this is about enjoying the physical senses, right? If you have this beauty and abundance, then absolutely we need to enjoy that, right? You're in the meat suit, you might as well enjoy some shit. But I still look at this and think definitely for some of you, it may be, another female here where there's not a lot of understanding, like at all. In the present, the Knight of Pentacles. So, it's almost like if you are dealing with a person here with the Knight of Pentacles being in the present, it's like they're stopping that slow and steady progress forward. Now, absolutely, it's still there. There's a possibility to move forward from this, but is somebody dragging their feet and not wanting to move forward from this kind of conflict and disagreement and misunderstanding? You know what I'm saying? But I'm waiting to see what's happening here. Okay, the Two of Cups. Now, with the Two of Cups, again, it doesn't have to be romantic, like I've been saying that repeatedly. This is about the connection between you and another person, seeing eye to eye, being on the same page, having an understanding, right? But with the Five of Swords, it's not happening. There's, like I said, the total misunderstanding, disagreement, but this is extreme compared to like the Five of Wands. This is all out fighting and somebody trying to hold you down. Now, whatever it is that they're doing, they're stopping the progress from moving forward. At one point, there may have been comfort and abundance here within a relationship, but something has definitely changed. And like I said before, for some of you, it's going to be about, a female in your life, disagreements happening there. But then I also think, though, too, with the Empress, it's like, I want to say that for you, at one point in the past, you may have been a little bit more nurturing, a little bit more understanding, and there's a need to kind of pull on that now. But this person is like completely stopping the progress forward here, So are you going to eventually break this relationship off here with the Two of Cups being the outcome? or future conditions. Because with this, it like puts a taint on everything. Your best path to follow, the Knight of Wands. This to me is saying that if you want to have a better connection here with whoever it is that you're dealing with, you're going to have to get up and make it happen. You have to make it happen. If you want to experience something different, something better, then you are going to have to get up and stop being complacent. I mean, that's basically that. I don't think that this is about, you needing to be careful about people being in and out, because the connection, I think, is already there. But there needs to be more excitement. And again, like I go back to the call of the night, but you have to make that happen. A new passion and a new drive here to get past what disagreements there may be and start picking up the progress again. Because there is still potential here to have this in the upright, because I'm looking at it in the reverse with that being the overall. And for some of you, it could just simply be it's time to move on now. It's time to move on and follow your passion. If you can't see eye to eye with somebody, then, you're just beating a dead horse, right? In your environment, the Chariot, and then looking at the Knight of Pentacles, that's going nowhere fast. But I do think that it's really about you needing to move on. Now, definitely there could be conflict happening between you and somebody else here about possibly needing to go somewhere, with the Chariot being there. And looking at the Knight of Pentacles, it's like this is something you've been planning, but somebody's stopping the progress. You're not seeing eye to eye, not agreeing. But this is also about willpower and self-control. At one point, I do kind of feel good about the Empress, if this was what was surrounding you, and there's still like this want to pull on this type of energy. If you're looking at her in the upright, it is about being nurturing and supporting, but, not being overbearing. But I don't think it's you. I think it's another person here that's completely blocking what could potentially be, a really good connection. But looking at the Chariot though, too, definitely it could be about you needing to, make the trip here to make the connection better, if this is, about somebody who is at a distance from you. But I don't know. I look at the Chariot and the Knight of Pentacles, and I think that it's so opposing. It's so opposing. I think that there is an ability here to move forward here and start picking up the momentum, right? But it's just not happening. Your hopes and your fears, the King of Swords, and that to me is you. I look at this and, I almost kind of get like a Queen of Swords type of feeling, but I don't think that it's about, you being the brutal one. I think that's why the King of Swords is showing up, but I do think that there is a lack of emotion on your part, And then not only that, but I think that as far as a hope goes, it's like hoping that this person is going to see reason and clarity. Now, definitely it could be about another person that you're dealing with here that could possibly be being like verbally abusive, looking at the Five of Swords being there. Your hopes and fears are surrounding a person here. And like I said, the hope would be that they see logic and reason, but the fear would be that, this type of disagreement continues. Whether you're dealing with an air sign, a Cancer here, or, Taurus with the Empress, to me, it doesn't matter. It's all about, whether or not somebody can tap into their emotions and see things clearly. And then the Knight of Swords. I don't know. I kind of look at that as you. And as you, kind of getting it out and saying what needs to be said, but only after, this situation comes to an end and starts to change. But looking at it with the Knight of Pentacles, right, like I don't feel like this is happening because of the Five of Swords. It's like this situation needs to be over with, but yet it's continuing, which is why you lead into this need here to be like really blunt and direct with somebody. Now, if I'm looking at the Empress and thinking about you being nurturing and supportive in the past, But, you know, you needing to pull on that now to kind of help you through the situation with the Queen of Cups, it could definitely be being a little bit more in tune with your own emotions. But I look at her and I think emotionally invested, emotionally attached. And then when you're looking at the Four of Wands, immediately for me, I go back to the Empress and think, yes, there is abundance. There was a level of stability at one point. But with death, it's like everything changed. You know, and these conflicts should have been over with. Something needs to change. Somebody is clinging here, but you are the one ultimately coming out and being blunt and direct because you don't have a choice, but you have to do it in a way where they have no choice but to hear you. That's the thing with the Knight of Swords, right? This is somebody who has a message to deliver and he doesn't give a shit about what anybody else has to say. I'm going to say what I need to say. You shut the hell up and listen, and I'm gone. Right? And that's kind of what you're reverted to here. You know, it would have been different. We would have been looking at death after the Knight of Swords and we're like, okay, right? A harsh truth being delivered that ends the situation. But that's not it. It's because something is not ending, I feel like. Which to me is, you know, frustrating because there was at least some level of stability before with that Four of Wands being there, you know, but things have to change before you can get back to this, right? And are you invested? Are you in it? You know, I do think that you come out though swinging the sword, so to speak, but being direct and hoping that this person sees logic, you know, and this stops, right? And there's a better connection made because I think you are there. I think they are too, for that matter. But whatever it is that you can't see eye to eye on is causing big problems, right? And holdups here. Now, this could definitely be you needing to get some control here and thinking logically about something and, you know, not get wrapped up in this type of bullshit anymore, right? And at least come to somewhat of an understanding, you know, based on what it is that you need to communicate here in such a direct, harsh way. And then patience. And then I feel like that's the reason why we're pulling on the Empress. You needing to be patient. With freedom, there is freedom for you to open your mouth and speak, right? With the throat chakra, absolutely, it's needing to say something, you know, but maybe needing to pull on some patience and some understanding before you actually say anything. Because I kind of worry about the Knight of Swords. But the thing is I'm still looking at the Queen of Cups connected to the two. You know, it's almost like it has to happen. Otherwise, you're just going to be in this continuous battle, you know? And maybe that's the only way to get this person to see a reason. And then true love. This love is a once-in-a-lifetime love. Oh, so it's there. You're both there. You're both in it, right? It's just that they may be needing a little bit more affection from you. And I kind of go back to, you know, that pull there with the Empress. But, you know, again, like I said before, for some of you, it is going to have to do with an important female. That's important to somebody anyway. But what I will say here is that, you know, if there is still a passion to have this connection, there is a way to continue the progress and start getting things moving again. You know, you may have to open up and communicate in a very direct way to get this person to see logic and reason. But, you know, there was still a level of stability that was there, you know, and abundance at that. You know, and as long as you're emotionally invested and you speak up here, they're not going to have any choice but to see your point of view. And I think that's really what this is about, coming down to it, especially looking at the Two of Cups. You know, but there is a way forward here. You don't have to stay complacent in these kinds of situations. All right, Aquarius, I do think that with the Empress coming through, first of all, you know, like I said, there is a way forward here, but it's about willpower and self-control. But I do think that, you know, with the Empress, it could be, like I said, an important female figure for some of you. But looking at the Five of Swords, extreme misunderstanding, extreme miscommunication here, fighting, you know, verbal abuse possibly happening here. somebody trying to hold you down. But then looking at the Empress, I do think, especially with the Four of Wands, that at one point there was abundance and stability and some at least comfort here with this relationship. But for some reason, it's like there's an absolute block on moving forward. And I think it's the other person more so than it is you. But I do think that you're the one that's being asked here to kind of tap into that emotional side. And then there's also, like, for you, they're looking at the Knight of Wands. I feel like there's still a passion here. There's a need for you to get up and make something happen here because of this being your advice. There is a way forward, but it's going to be based on, your own self-control in this situation. I do think that you're hoping that this person is going to see logic and reason, but I do think that a lot of you are like tapping back into, your emotions here when it comes to this connection, and wanting to get past this nonsense. This to me, it's more difficult than looking at the Five of Wands. I mean, at least that would have been like petty and stupid, but this is like extreme. There's no reason to treat each other that way. But yet that's where you're at. Now, looking at the clarifiers coming out, I do think, especially with death showing up, that this is something that should have been over with a long time ago, that there's no reason for this to come back up because you've already had this level of stability. I do think that things may have changed, but I do think that with the Knight of Swords, that is you. That is you coming out and being direct and harsh, because that's almost like the only way that they're going to shut the hell up and see you and hear you and hopefully see some reason here. But I do think that for you, it's because there's still very much an emotional attachment, a connection, the want to have, a good relationship, right? But then I look at the Chariot and I also feel like, especially with the Knight of Wands, for some of you, it's just absolutely needing to move on, and again, with death being there. But for some of you, I'm looking at this and thinking, this is something that's important. This is an important relationship. If this is what we're talking about here with romance and true love. It's just that they need some more of your attention, and that may be the issue, right? Now, again, with complacency and looking at the call of the Knight, you can't stay complacent in, these types of disagreements and arguments and this way of being in a relationship where you're just constantly at odds, and I worry that some of you are just like, I want it, I really, really want it, but I don't see how it's going to happen, so I'm just going to stay complacent in this feeling of not realizing my dream here to have the connection that I want to have, which is where the heaviness is coming through. But, again, right, there is freedom here for your throat chakra to open the hell up and say what needs to be said, and hopefully this person sees reason, right? But then you needing to be patient. And again, I go back to this feeling of, needing to be more in tune with your own emotions, right? I still see this as, there is a way forward here. Somebody may be halting the progress, and you may not be understanding why, and that may be where the fighting is coming through. But, it looks like you move to a place here where, you're feeling it more. There's more of a want to have this. There's more of an attachment, and there is definitely a possibility here for you to have a better connection. But man, it's going to be up to you. You're going to have to open up and say something. And, like I said, hopefully they will see reason and logic here, and stop engaging in these types of disagreements and arguments and miscommunications.